Why should I use votefromabroad.org rather than the paper form?
Using the votefromabroad.org website to fill out your registration and overseas absentee ballot request form, also called the FPCA, ensures that your request will be more legible than a handwritten form. Since the same form covers all voting jurisdictions in America, the website directs you to fill out only what is needed for your state. Vote from Abroad also supplies all the information you need to submit your form to the right person in your state, their contact information, and how to confirm that your form was received and accepted. If your state allows you to, you may be able to fill out and submit the form without any need to print it out. Requirements change constantly, and Vote from Abroad is continuously updated to meet your state's requirements so that you don't need to memorize them.
What is my U.S. voting address?
Your U.S. voting address is the street address of the last place you lived in the U.S., no matter if you still have ties to that property or if it even exists. It just gives the local election staff clarity on which jurisdiction you will vote in. If you have never lived in the U.S., it is the address of the last place your American parent or spouse lived in the U.S.
Can I register to vote in another state?
As a U.S. citizen living abroad, your voting address is usually the address of the last place you lived in the U.S. This general rule applies regardless of how long you've been away or whether you ever intend to return to that state. However, if you have sufficient ties to another state, you may be eligible to register to vote in that location. The local election official in the voting district makes the final determination on whether to accept your voter registration in their jurisdiction. If you are able to register to vote in a new jurisdiction, it's always a good idea to contact the previous election office to let them know you've moved your voter registration.
I can't remember my last U.S. address. How do I find it?
We recommend checking your state's website or with your local election official to see if your voter registration information is still available. Then, look for old documents such as tax returns, letters, address books, or your birth certificate. Some can ask family and friends. If you remember a general location, a search on Google Street View Maps could work as well.
Can I register to vote if I've never lived in the U.S.?
Yes, as a U.S. citizen abroad, you can submit the Federal Postcard Application, or FPCA, to register to vote and request your ballot even though you have never lived in the United States. For your voting address, use the address of the last place your U.S. citizen parent lived in the U.S. If both of your parents are U.S. citizens, you may use the last U.S. address of either U.S. parent.
What can I do if my state rejects my voter registration because I've never lived in the U.S.?
Although there is a federal law protecting Americans living overseas' right to vote, there are some states that either require that a voter must have actually resided in the state in the past to register to vote there, or apply restrictions that effectively prevent these U.S. citizens from registering to vote, directly conflicting with the federal law. If your state is one of these states, on Section 2 of the FPCA, you will be asked to choose from "My return is uncertain and I intend to return," effectively not offering the "I've never lived in the U.S." as a choice, as this category does not apply in those states. If your voter registration was rejected because you indicated "I never lived in the U.S., you can reapply under another category or seek to register in another state to which you have strong ties. Perhaps there may be a location where you have had lengthy stays or multiple visits to friends and relatives. The local election official in the voting district makes the final determination whether the ties are sufficient to accept a voter registration form. If the local election official rejects a voter registration form, they must provide an explanation.
Should I choose "I intend to return" or "My intent to return is uncertain"?
It is up to you to decide which category to choose. Only you know if you have a current intention to return to live in the U.S. sometime in the future. You do not have to have a plan or a date in mind, merely an intention. Every state will send you a ballot, including both federal and state races, if you intend to return. Some states will only send you federal offices if your return is uncertain.
Should I get my ballot sent to me by email, online, or fax or mail?
We strongly recommend that overseas voters request their ballots be sent to them electronically, either via email, online, or fax.
Can I vote if I don't have a social security number or a state ID card?
The federal postcard application form asks voters to provide their social security number, usually just the last 4 digits, and/or a state identification number. You should provide that information if you have either or both, but overseas voters are not required to hold a state ID. However, if you do not have either number, check the box that indicates, "I don't have the above identification," and follow up with your local election official who can assist you in making sure your application is accepted.
Do I have to choose a political party?
Choosing a political party on your federal postcard application or FPCA is optional. However, some states require voters to indicate their political party in order to vote in primary elections. When you fill out the form on votefromabroad.org, it will indicate if your state has this restriction. If you vote in one of those states and decide not to choose a political party, you will still receive a ballot for general elections.
I filled out the form on votefromabroad.org. Am I done?
You need to ensure you have signed and submitted the form based on the instructions for your state in Step 5. You are submitting your form to the local election official, who has the authority to register you and send you a ballot. After you send in your form, we strongly recommend you email or call your local election official to verify that they received it and will send you a ballot. The contact information is at Your State Rules, and then scroll down to Find Your Election Office. Please visit our website for complete answers to these questions and many more. The votefromabroad.org website has an entire section of FAQs, but we also have live Zoom the Vote Help Center sessions throughout the year. You can find that, our email, and all of our social media by scanning the QR code. Vote from Abroad is dedicated to ensuring that U.S. citizens living abroad can exercise their right to vote. We are run by U.S. citizens abroad who are trained experts on the process of voting from abroad. Our website is offered as a free, nonpartisan public service, streamlining the process of registering, requesting, and receiving an overseas absentee ballot. We can also provide information to help you return your ballot successfully. Did you find this video helpful? Please like and consider sharing this video with other U.S. citizens abroad. Hit subscribe to be informed of our latest content. Find out more and use the online tool to submit your FPCA at votefromabroad.org. Thanks for watching.